the stream is sent out, so I'm going to get the socials sent real fast, and then I'll get started on introducing. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Give me 1 second here. Studio, bam. Again, I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Let me get started, pull this up, and let's look at some live views. There we go. And share this out with the world. So to anyone who is tuning in, I always appreciate it. Definitely feel free to share this out. Let everyone know that we have a special guest joining us today. And bam. All right, let's get started on it. And then we'll let everyone kind of trickle in as we go. So we have a special guest with us today, a crypto veteran of the bear markets. He's experienced the highs and lows of crypto investing and proven that he has perseverance and resilience to survive. His experience and knowledge will be invaluable in navigating the ever-changing market, where a space that is full of potential and opportunity. He's seen firsthand how the market can fluctuate and has the insight to make wise decisions. Your presence here will allow every one of us to capitalize on the current favorable market conditions and help ensure future success in this exciting world of crypto investing. Everyone, please help me welcome Randy Hilarski.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. Happy to be here. I always like supporting our fellow Pulse Chain Hex ecosystem streamers, and especially when folks are new. I seem to be one of the first guys people go to, and because I always say yes. I don't know. I never say no, so let's do it. Let's get the word out. Yeah, I mean, Jim Rat, I was his first. Hex Joker, I was one of his in the beginning, back when he was still streaming. There's a couple other, Dane, talking with Dane. So yeah, I'm here to help out. Let's do this.
Heck yeah. Well, as always, I'm excited. This is my second interview that I've had with someone in the Hex Pulse Chain community. My first was Jake Sharp. He actually kind of motivated me to start making videos in some weird, strange world and crazy world that we live in. So obviously, Randy Hilarski's here. You got so much insight. You do these streams as well. You've been a veteran in the crypto game. I definitely have several questions for you. And as we go along, I'm sure the chat may pop in and ask a few as well. And as they do, we'll pop them up on screen if they pertain to what we're talking about. So, again, to everyone who doesn't know Randy Hilarski, obviously you were born and you're here now. There's a lot in between. If you could, kind of fill us in. What happened? What happened in between?
Well, I'm born and raised upstate New York, Rochester area. Lived there for the first 18 years of my life, but actually it was 17, because a couple days after I turned 17, I was in boot camp. Joined U.S. Navy. I was a Navy hospital corpsman.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, sir. I did that for 7 years. Got to travel the world, see some really cool things. It wasn't during wartime, except for, if you consider, Bosnia and Serbia and that, us being in that war, even though we were just flying around taking pictures.
Right.
But I was stationed in Sicily during that time, and so I got all my awards, all my medals for that war, even though, in my opinion, it wasn't a war that we really participated in. But I got out. Yeah, and it was very sad. I got out, 99, struggled for 10 years, didn't know who the fuck I was. I'm sorry, I don't know how your language.
Oh, go, cuss.
All right, okay. So I didn't know who I was. I would work as a nurse. Hey, Pepe. Buongiorno, Pepe. Pepe is one of my Italian friends in our Hex community. And I just struggled, man. I couldn't keep a job. I'd be working as a nurse for a few years, get burnt out, because I worked in psych, mental health, with a lot of veterans. I worked at the VA. I saw how terrible the VA was. I feel bad for all of our veterans that have to deal with that organization. Yep. And then I sold cars. I worked for Volkswagen and Mazda, and that became a master Volkswagen salesman. I sold cell phones in 2000, 2001 at the peak when things were just flying. I was selling 110, 120 phones a month. Top salesman in Ohio for multiple months. I learned my sales, but I wasn't a happy person. So I thought I would move in with my brother down in Florida. He was a Navy chief, E7. While he was dealing with Iraq, he got deployed to Iraq, and he was in naval intelligence. It was a good time. It kind of brought me back to being around my fellow military folks again, hanging out with his friends and things like that while I was working at the car dealership and the local hospitals. I was still bouncing around. I probably had 20 jobs in the course of 10 years. And
Right.
Then he got married, and I didn't know what to do. So I ended up coming home to Rochester, New York, bought a foreclosed house because that was 2008, when everything just freaking collapsed, man. The whole world collapsed financially. In the
Right.
U.S. it did, right? So came home, and I was in Rochester, New York with this snow around me again after being in Tampa for 3 years. And I was like, God, as much as it's cool to be home around family and friends, everyone had moved on. Their lives were so different from when I left to join the Navy, right? When you leave
sure.
at 18, then you come back, everyone's got a totally different life. So I
Yeah,
didn't
what
fit
is
in.
that, 10 years later as well?
Yeah, more than that. No, you're talking about 15 years later.
Okay,
So
okay.
life was totally
Yeah,
different.
lots,
I'm like,
lots
okay,
changed.
lots changed, even with my family. So I said, you know what? I'm out. So during Hurricane Hugo back in '97, I was deployed here to Panama. They took me away from Puerto Rico because my barracks room was the first floor, and they were worried that we were going to get flooded. So they said, Hilarski, where do you want to go? You want to go to Keflavik, Iceland, or do you want to go to Panama? And I said, you know what? Send me to Panama. I'm not going to no snow place where it's freezing cold and I got to wear a jacket. No. Send me to Panama.
No, right.
Right? So I fell in love with Panama, and I got depressed up in New York after 3 years. I said, you know what? I'm done with this lifestyle. I'm done with paying these super high taxes. I'm done with not having building relationships anymore. I'm done with all that. So I got up, moved to Panama, and a couple years later, I think 2014 was when I first bought Bitcoin. It brought me into a whole community that I love: anarchists, anarcho-capitalists, libertarians, and
Yep.
I have flourished since then, not just financially, but with friendships and just building a community around my beliefs. And that's where I'm here. That's why I'm here today.
Awesome. I mean, that's obviously filled with plenty of information in between, right? That's a summarized version, if you will, and we always appreciate that. Now, I have to imagine Panama, you're speaking some sort of Spanish. Is that something you knew prior to, going to move over there, or you were like, you know what, man, I got to deploy, I got to check it out, I'm going back, and I'll learn as we go.
Yeah, so sorry. For me, it was, I was in Italy for 3 years.
Mm,
I picked up Italian pretty good. Sicilian, not Italian.
okay.
It's very, very different than Northern Italian.
Okay.
As Pepe
Imagine
would,
that's like the people saying Portuguese versus,
or more
Spanish.
like, it's more like being from New York and then going down south to the deep south and listening to someone from the deep south. You're like, what the hell are you saying, bro? I can't even understand you.
Facts.
And that was a similar situation. And I
Okay.
remember I went to Rome, and I was in Rome after like 2 years in Sicily, and I spoke to somebody, asked for something, and they're like, "Cafone, cafone" means peasant, right? I'm like, why are you so rude, man? But yeah, I learned Spanish in high school. I had 3 years of Spanish, so it
Okay.
really helped. And having a Spanish speaking girlfriend always helps too.
For sure. No, that definitely helps for sure. I took German in like middle school, and then I took sign language all through high school, and
Oh, cool.
and then I lived in Japan for a period of time during my deployments to Iraq, and I learned some Japanese, but every single, like I haven't been able to retain much, unfortunately. So maybe if I go somewhere where I can pick it back up, like Japan again, maybe it'll help out. But yeah,
It'll come back like this, believe me.
oh, that's funny. Yeah, I kept learning. I kept learning Japanese, and then I would go to Iraq, and then I'd forget everything and learn all the language there, the commands, if you will, because I wasn't speaking anything fluent. You were just telling
Right.
people get on the floor, put your hands in the air, and stop, and
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, other
So
than
you were
that,
infantry.
yeah. So yeah, so that's
That's
one
a
of
tough
those.
go, bro. Tough
Yeah,
go.
no, that's definitely a scenario that you don't anticipate anyone experiencing, for sure, right? But then I look back at the wars for freaking World War II and those guys, and I'm like, dude, I would never want to go battle those. Like, granted, I didn't know who people were shooting. I didn't know, you don't know who's who, but like, man, when you look at those wars and you're like, dude, you're in the trenches, like, nah, forget that. So looks like we got a couple of folks tuning in. Folks, I do appreciate it. Everyone tuning in, thank you so much. Again, we got Mr. Randy Hilarski here with us. I'm going to pop up some chats on here, see what people are saying. We got Pepe saying, morning, everyone. Good morning, Pepe. We got a new subscriber as well. Thank you so much, Marcor. We have SC saying, hey guys, thinking of staking a Hex T-share for my 2-year-old. What length of stake would you recommend? 55-55? And also, do you set up a stake in their name?
Thinking of staking a Hex T-share for my 2-year-old. What length of stake would you recommend? Also, do you set up a stake in their name? That's right. I have a separate wallet for my son, and I did a 13-year, 14-year, and a 55-55, and then every year I add a 55-55, so that he's going to have these forever.
Love it.
So I take a piece of mine that come out,
yep,
whether it be 10,000 hacks or 20,000 hacks, and I just stake them out 55-55 for him.
Perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely agree with that answer. Yeah, if you got a 2-year-old son, you know, they're typically not pulling that money out for a while anyways. You can look at potentially getting their 16-year-old for a car. So, you know, maybe plan around the 13 and a half year mark, so you have enough time to buy it and get everything set up and teach them. And then, you know, definitely look at the next phase in life, which would be college, right? And even going 55-55, they still won't even be 18 at that time. So I think you're definitely going to be able to benefit going that far. Now, neither Randy or I are financial advisors. None of this is financial advice. We got to say all that every single time for, you know, purposes to make sure that everyone understands. But really what I say for stakes is have a date in mind as to the reason why you're staking. Okay, I think that's going to help you so much maintain the stake. So if you know it's going to be for your kid's car when they're 16 or 15 or whatever, then that's a purpose that you have that is going to help hold on to that stake, because that's why we stake. I mean, heck, Randy and I don't have diamond hands, unfortunately. I know that for a fact.
I say it all the time.
Yeah, I've heard Randy talk about it as well in his streams. And, you know, like, so if you're planning on doing something, like, plan for a date that has a reason behind it. It's going to help. It's going to help get to that date so much easier, because when you want to try to pull it out, especially when it starts rallying up again, guys, because that's something you don't realize. Right now, it seems like the bear market, it's low. But once we start going back up and you start seeing the price go from 2 cents to 10 cents to 50 cents to $1, that stake that was small in the very beginning, even a couple years down the road, could turn into a big stake. So you have to have a purpose behind why do you stake? Why did you stake in the first place? That's what I find to be the easiest way to do it personally. And yeah, absolutely love that answer from both of us. We got Pepe
I have to say too that, you know, my one big stake that I had come out at the top of the market last year in September was 10x the USD value of what my entire investment into Hex was.
Wow.
That one stake, and that was about maybe 2% of my total Hex that I had.
Wow. Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's the power of this compounding.
Yeah, compound interest is huge, and especially if you go out to 55, you not only get the longer pays better bonus, but you also get the additional 5 years extra earning that compound interest. So
yeah, those extra T-shares too.
Yeah, and the extra T-shares, yeah, 1,000%. You got Pepe saying, that's my boy. Hey, Mamma Mia.
You know, yesterday the payout was 6.43 hex per T-share, and it's just going up and to the right. I remember when we were only getting one hex, 1.5 hex in the first couple weeks of hex. Now we're at 6.43. What is it going to be a year from now? Probably more like 10. 10 hex per T-share. Can you imagine that? And if we go back to 55 cents or $1 or $2, holy crap. For some people that have been paying attention, and even in this bear market, you can do this. Say you got 50 T-shares, and you're earning, say, 500, or let's do it with the number today, 640. You got 50 T-shares, so you're getting about 320 hex per day in interest. And we're at $1 or $2. Now you're talking about $350 a day, $400 a day.
It's like, yeah, you multiply that out by a year, and that number just gets, you know, exacerbated. Like, it just pulls out some wild numbers for sure.
Sure does. People don't understand. Richard always says, you know, people talk about penny hex when they should be talking about $10 hex, $20 hex. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right.
Yeah, he had everyone focus on the 10,000x number so much, I think, that, you know, people forget there's way higher than the 10,000x number.
Look at Ethereum, look at Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. And so we got so much more room to grow. We have so much more room here as well. We got Nikola Tesla saying, what up, Hex fam? Love seeing the chat. Academaciated says double trouble. Lol. I appreciate it. Academaciated has been tuning in on my streams all the time. So thank you so much for all the love you shared, all the chats and everything. The community that we have in general by far trumps everything else. Like, even if you don't have long stakes, or even if you don't have a big bag of hex, or even if you just want to get some environment for friends, like, this community wins, in my honest opinion. You know, you can look at other ones and they're typically just talking about, are you selling now? Are you trading now? Are you, dropping here? Are you doing this? The price is rallying up. What's happening? And so you do this over and over. And so people, it gets old for sure. And I'm glad to have gotten out of that world.
Well, we're talking about life here. We talk about life, and that's a difference than other crypto channels.
Oh, it's true. Yeah. And it's not always like, like, hey, while we talk about the crypto that we love, don't get me wrong, Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X, like, all day we'll gladly talk about them. We definitely managed to talk about so many other things, and that just happens to be another topic of conversation, which I love. And so I definitely got some questions for you, Mr. Randy. Let me see if I can get through some chats real fast, and then we'll blow through. Not blow through, because I actually have some fire questions. Pleasure to hear from you, ATX Crypto. First time Randy invited me. Thanks. You guys are great. Pepe, well, thank you so much. It's great to hear from new perspective, from new people and experiences. 1000% agree. And that's like, during this bear market, if you're not doing anything but learning, like, that's what you should be doing. Like it sucks looking at the price all the time. You're just going to make yourself sad if that's all you ever do is just look at price. So why not use this opportunity to try to see what other people are doing during the bear market? This is my first bear market, as a matter of fact. I've never experienced a crypto bear market. I didn't think Hex could honestly drop down in price to the levels that we saw. I didn't, dude, like, you hear it all the time. Like, this time's different, whatever. You hear that all the time, and that's like the death words or whatever. And then you hear the other one of, well, everything can drop 80, 90, 95%. And so I was like, Hex isn't dropping below freaking 20 cents. Heck, and then it dropped below 20. Hex isn't dropping below 10 cents. And then it dropped below 10. And I was like, oh my God, this is wild. But I got my stakes. And so it just made it to where I wasn't even worried about it dropping. I do see these as buying opportunities now. It is a different perspective I was able to take on as well.
It's scary to see that happen, but after I've been through, this is my third one, and I was actually born in the bear market. I saw my Bitcoin. I bought it first ones at 450, and it dropped down to 200 within a couple months. I was like, ouch, that hurts.
Yeah, and you're not staked, and you're not having anything, and that's even scarier, because then you're like, oh my gosh, do I sell? Is it the end? And then you start looking into all the FUD that everyone starts saying, and
everyone told me Bitcoin was a scam for the first 3 years.
It's easy to buy into some of that too, man. It's so easy. You just have enough people saying something to you, and then you start taking on this own view that you didn't even have before. But I've heard you yourself say, like, you don't even care what FUD is anymore for anyone, and that's part of some of the questions we'll be pulling up. Mostly 10 to 15 year stakes here, only one out for less than a year, as perhaps we see another Hex high by then. Definitely looking forward to another Hex high by then. Crypto Gains Club 369, thank you so much for tuning in. But guys, there's no liquidity for everyone to cash out. Oh my God. Hello, chat. Hello, exactly. Again, we got another subscriber, Nikola Tesla. Thank you so much for subscribing. Crypto Gains Club 369. You got daily payouts, baby. Let's go. And so true, my first bear as well. So all exciting to me, and all a great learning opportunity. We got, Hexactly doing 62 stakes already monthly up to January of 2026. And there's so many different strategies involved. And that's kind of, not only with Hex, but I just want to talk about crypto with you right now, because I think that's more or less the bigger market that we need to look at. So let's just knock out some questions, folks. We'll get back to chat in a little bit, and I'll pull up chat as we kind of go along, but let's pull up some questions from Mr. Randy. So obviously you've been in. You said this is your third bear market right now. How much has the crypto landscape changed since you first started investing?
Totally different. And it all changed in 2017. When I got in 2014, it was libertarians, anarcho-capitalists, people that wanted to take down the Federal Reserve. We were done with the system. Bitcoin was designed. It came out in 2009, and it was right after the collapse of the financial markets, when the Federal Reserve put tons of liquidity into the markets and inflated the crap out of the dollar. And Hale Finney and all these guys, they said, you know what? We're cyberpunks. Let's come up with a cryptocurrency and let's call it Bitcoin. And they did. You know, Satoshi Nakamoto. It was a group of people. It wasn't just one person. In my opinion, it was a group, right? So they came together and they designed this really cool currency. And back then, it was just people that only wanted to take down the system. They're tired of the system. They didn't want anything to do with the old Federal Reserve and governments just printing their way out of everything, because it destroys the value of what you hold. So savers were getting destroyed. Like if our parents, if they put $10,000 in the bank and they held it to today, how much value did they lose? Yeah, they'd be down like probably 60% right now if they held it since 2008 or something like that. Some ridiculous number. So they wanted out of that system. They came out with Bitcoin. I was like, this is great. All right. I was actually one of those guys that was actually in it for the tech. And then freaking 2017 came along and Bitcoin goes like this, goes all the way to 20K. Yep. And what happened? It brought the greed in. It brought all the money, the people that were only there because they wanted to make a 10X or a 5X or something like that. And it was really disappointing. Now, I was involved with over 40 projects. I've launched a whole bunch of crypto. I've been on teams. I've been on teams that were ANCAPs. I've been on teams that were greedy fuckers. I've seen both. All right. And there's very few that are still the old ANCAP side. They're centralized finance. These are people who don't care about the meaning behind decentralized finance, what we're trying to do. They still want to take the old model and just, you know, it's a square peg in a round hole. They're trying to put the old model in the new model and it's not working. So things are changing. And then this year, for those who do not know, is the 50-year Jubilee year from the last cycle. The last cycle was when the U.S. took the gold backing off the dollar and just went 100% fiat. So 50 years has passed. A new monetary system is coming in. That monetary system is CBDCs. So now, on top of the greed, now we got government in saying, oh, you're going to move all your money to CBDCs, coupons, and you're not going to be able to put your money underneath your mattress anymore. So that's where we've changed. So we went from anarcho-capitalists, libertarians, to the average Joe taxi driver, greed. Now we got the government's trying to get their piece and control over our money.
Okay, and that's going in what going on 13 years for crypto, but yeah, with the Jubilee cycle, I've been listening to Waters Above ever since Crypto Coffee had him on, and definitely listening to Gematria, everything that he's talking about there, because there are some wild things that, you know, again, like if you're not learning in this space, then you're not growing, in my opinion. So even if it's a different point of view that I don't understand Gematria by any means, he starts pulling out numbers and I'm like, man, you could just say that about anything. I see 23 everywhere, right? But then you look back and you're like, all right, well, I'll just take it, you know, for what it is, and I'll learn and have my own investment. And learning from the Gematria or the Jubilee, the Shemitah that we had, all these cycles have all been very eye-opening to me, and definitely excited to see. So it's something you
got to pay attention to, folks.
For sure.
You don't have to be a Jew or a Christian to believe in these things.
The
cycles don't care about your religion.
Right.
The cycles are going to happen whether you participate or not. It's the same thing with the moon cycles.
Yep.
Full moon, red market. New moon, green market.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, let me see if I can pull it up here a little bit different. I'll just leave it here with the, yeah, it's okay. I'll leave it here. I like it like this. I like the little gold background. I was hoping to keep the gold background behind it. Anyways, so yeah, you definitely do not have to believe in the actual, you know, mechanics behind it. You know, you don't have to be Jewish or whatever. Market cycles are in fact a reality though. And so if you can learn from someone who has experience or has knowledge and is just sharing, half the time this information's all out there for free, right? I'm not joining a paid group anymore. Like, dude, you have to imagine, before I found Hex, I was doing all that. I was in paid groups. I was trading, doing swing trades. It was so much stress that was involved in my life. And so once I started realizing half that information is just free. You just got to go look. And so that's one of the things that I do believe in as well. Cycles are real, and I'm learning. I'm learning with crypto. Definitely, cycles are real. So, so obviously, there's been plenty of change. What has been some of the biggest challenges you face in the crypto space so far?
Well, the biggest challenge is when the bear market comes, being liquid, being able to have enough money to survive long enough during the bear market. The bull market's easy. Even ask my wife. She loves the bull market. She's like, baby, I want to go buy some clothes today. Okay, here's $1,000. You know, It's like you don't even care. You're like, oh, here's $1,000. But when the bear market comes, you're like, I don't want to spend any money because I want to DCA the whole time. I see that the price is down and I don't want to sell anything at this current time. So this bull market or bear market, I made a very different decision than I made the last bear market. In 2017-18, my son was born in January 2018. And the week before that or so, I fired all my clients. I got rid of everybody. Wow. I'm like, okay, I'm a millionaire. I'm out, right? I'm like, I'm good. And my son's here. I want to spend the next 2 years just raising my son and just, doing that thing, being a dad, right? Well, hell, who would have thought that the market would absolutely tank as bad as it did, and especially the coins that I was holding, almost everything went down 95%. So I went from 7 figures down to 5 figures by the end of 2019, and I'm like, oh man, this hurts, right? Because I had to live off of my crypto, and I didn't have any clients paying us on a monthly basis like we had prior. So it was just a very bad decision. So in this bull market, or this bear market, I'm sorry, I didn't get rid of clients. I kept my clients. So now we have our salaries coming in. We don't have to worry. We're getting paid every month, and I don't have to go dipping into my crypto bags to pay for my lifestyle. And then that was the big difference that I learned. And I took profits this cycle, this bull cycle.
That's something that I learned as well, and I've learned I haven't been able to take the profits though, because I got to see the rally all the way up, and I got to see, we'll say a 10, 20x, and where I got in, because I got in, it was like 2021, right? I wasn't in early in Hex, but I cashed out everything I had to get into Hex in the first place, because I said nothing else is going to do what this can do. So I got rid of everything else, and I said, you know what, here we go, and I got to see it rally up, and I got to see it go really crazy. I'm thankful I got to, because I did get to sacrifice for Pulse Chain and Pulse X a lot heavier than I normally would have, right? Because I just took what I had. I was like, these are all profits at this point. Like, I'm gonna go there, but I didn't cash out. And then here I am, semi-retired. But I thought Pulse Chain would also have been out way before now too, right? So like, I think I did exactly what you did the first time, where I was like, I don't need this job anymore. I'm out. Peace. And so now I've learned, like, okay, maybe that wasn't the right decision, right?
We got to get our McDonald's hats. Hey, there we go.
I got my McDonald's uniform in the back. I'm about to go to work right after this stream. But no, like, that was wild. And again, like, those are moments that I'm like, okay, profit taking is a strategy that I need to implement somewhere in my game. And I have a strategy now. I haven't been able to implement it yet because it's a bear market. I ain't selling nothing during this time. I'm just continuing to buy. But I did, for a small portion, I did sell some of the Hex that I had bought to live off of, because it was starting to go down, and I was like, oh man, let me just sell what I have liquid. And I did that, and thankfully it's enough to make it to where I'm good for at least the next foreseeable future, 6 months, a year, whatever. And my wife still works, and she still has her job, and she's a dog trainer, so you know what I mean? Like, I still have income coming in, but it was it's tough to see it happen, because again, like, we didn't have any financial struggles. We haven't had any financial struggles in our relationship since being together. And this was the first real financial struggle that we've almost had, or we have had, because it was, you have it to where you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and I was in the hundreds of thousands range. And then you go to start selling some of the things, and then you see the drop, especially 90% value, to tens of thousands at this point. And that's a very big difference, because you can no longer just rely on that. And that was a very eye-opening moment. So, folks, to everyone who is listening and can learn from Randy Hilarski, I'm learning myself. Taking profits is not bad.
No.
Have a profit-taking strategy. That doesn't mean sell your bag all the way at when you think it's the top, because you're never gonna time it. But definitely have a profit-taking strategy. So if it 2x's, you sell 10% or whatever number you want. Like, have some number in mind that makes sense for you, because that was something I could have been able to cash out a lot more of. I could have held, even if I didn't need it, held it as USDC, and then I could have bought more during this dip, because that's one of the struggles that I found during this dip. I haven't been able to buy as much as I would like, because I did go semi-retired. I was like, guys, I don't need this job, I'm out. And then I just live off what we had and my wife working. But again, like the dips that are happening, I'm not able to take all the advantage of it. But I know this too shall pass, and it's just another little cycle. So
I don't know. We don't know when the exact moment the bull's going to return.
Right.
But I like your strategy. Your take 10% every time we get a double.
Yeah.
That is a perfectly sound strategy. And then maybe once you got 100% out of your original investment, then you could just let the casino money go.
Exactly.
And just set it free, and that's when it turns into 7 figures, and that's how it worked for us.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's what I'm here to learn, right? I know you don't only invest in Hex and Pulse Chain, which is also another reason why I really wanted to have you on the stream, because while my channel is primarily focused on that, I'm trying to learn about crypto in general, right? It's a market that I think is going to be around for the long haul. It's here to stay. And so, this, I guess, brings me to my next question here. So what do you think the most successful use case of cryptocurrency has been so far?
Well, for me, it's been time deposit. I cannot believe that in the first 9 years of crypto, nobody came up with the concept of a time deposit. It took Richard Hart to come up with that. And the CD is a much bigger portion of the financial markets than a currency is.
Yep.
So, and when it comes to banking. So Richard saw an opportunity. He's like, hey, we need to do this. And he brought it to the market. And I cannot believe more of the OGs can't see it. I was sold within seconds when I watched this video.
Me too. I wasn't even in early.
Yeah. And these other guys that have been in cryptos as long as me, they're like, scam, that's a scam.
Yeah.
Why? Just because you don't like Richard?
And that's really what it is. It's really because they don't like Richard. And, I think you have a good point there. So I have a finance background. I actually sold cars for a period of time as well. So it's funny that you said that. I became a finance manager at a couple of dealerships. I went into handling refinancing for people and, dealing with credit and everything. So I learned a lot from that perspective. But then I'd always had my ear to the ground when it came to finances, because I think that's by far one of the best things you can do for yourself and your family. And so when he started explaining that it's a time lock deposit, like a certificate of deposit for crypto, man, my mind was just like, hey, this makes perfect sense, folks. Like, this, what are you talking about? He hasn't said anything incorrect. Like, he's literally saying all it does. Like, he's just saying, here's what it is, here's what it does. And people are like, scam, scam, scam. And I'm like, all right, well, I ain't listening to none of y'all. And the dude is by far, 9 years. The fact that it did take it that long, I do find odd as well. And I'm almost kind of glad it did, because I wasn't in crypto, back then, right? And so I've been able to enjoy somewhat of an early time, because
you got in during the early adopter phase.
Exactly.
2021 is early.
Yep. And so, a lot of people were kind of getting in around that time, and that was definitely when Hex price started, or the momentum started moving. So let me go here on the next one. You definitely think, Hex time deposit being the best use case, which I believe as well. What do you think the future of cryptocurrency holds?
Oh, okay. So this is you guys don't know this. Most people don't understand what's happening in the financial world, right? Let's talk 99.9% of people on this planet have no idea the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room right now is CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies. It's going to be rolled out over the next 12 months.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not, it's coming. All right.
And every nation too, by the way.
Every nation. They're all going to do it, because the central authorities, which we might call them or whatever, dirt bags or whatever they are, they want 100% control over us.
Right.
You're not a good decision. You're not a good citizen in their eyes. They shut down your CBDCs. Okay. You don't want to obey. You want to go protest. Boom. You have no access to your Fed wallet. Whatever it is. Right. That stuff's coming. So you better have your crypto ready. You better be in crypto and have a parallel chain, something that outside of the traditional market system.
Yep.
I like what Andrew Tate says. If you guys know who Andrew Tate is, Andrew Tate says that if you are not rich within the next couple of years, you are fucked. And that is so true because he knows that CBDCs are rolling out.
Yep.
And he knows that they're going to have 100% control and they're going to keep you under their foot. So get wealthy now, because if you wait, you're never going to get wealthy. They want to put us back into a feudal system, the way it was during the Dark Ages, where they got the kings and the queens at the top, and the rest of us are just peasants.
Begging for food, begging for scraps, begging for what we can. Please roll out another stimulus, Fed. Please, please help me.
I need to buy some bread. and then they're going to send you the coupon, and the coupon's going to have an expiration date on it. If you don't use this coupon, we're going to send you 100 Fed bucks. If you don't use these 100 Fed bucks within 30 days, they get returned to the central planners. And central planners is a communist idea, right? So I was still in the military when, Russia was a bad guy. Okay. Back when I was, we still had the idea that Russia was a bad guy because of communism, even though the wall had already, the wall had fallen,
right.
And I'm not anti-Russia now. I'm not anti-Ukraine. I'm kind of a Switzerland in the matter now, because that's their business. Let them hammer it out. It has nothing to do with me. Right.
Yep.
So I remember communism. I grew up under communism happening around the world, and they were the bad guy. And all of a sudden, all the tenets of communism are coming to the U.S.
Right.
You guys are getting bashed with it every day. And we go to Europe regularly. We just spent 3 months in Europe. We were in the UK. We were in Italy. We were having a good old time. But my God, if you think it's bad in the U.S., Europe they're 10 years ahead when it comes to socialism. Scary stuff. Right. And the fact that, and on top of that, they're going away from physical currency.
Right.
When we were in the UK, I went to York, the city of York. All right. It's right on the border of Scotland. And we went to the, I can't remember what it's called, the Abbey there. And York Minster Abbey. I walk in with my family. We're like, we'd like to get a tour. And it's like 20 pounds, right?
Right.
For all of us. And I said, okay, here's 20 pounds. The lady's like, oh, sir, I'm sorry, we can't accept cash. And I'm like, you're a church. How could you, what do you mean you can't accept cash? She goes, after COVID, we no longer accept cash. And I look to the right, and they have their offering basket, like this big old offering thing where you put cash in it. Yeah. It's like filled with cash. And I said, wait a second. What is that over there?
Call him out, Randy. Call him out.
I'm like, what is that? And then I went on my little tirade, because I can't help myself as an ANCAP. It was education time, and there was like 30 people, 30 tourists, and they're all English speaking around me. And I'm like, that central bank digital currencies are rolling out, right? You know that you're just accepting slavehood by only accepting credit cards and stuff like that. And she was just like dumbfounded, like, I cannot believe this American is preaching to me 20. Right now. No, but I pulled out the card, but still, I was so angry for the rest of the day, because these people don't see what's coming.
Right.
They don't see the how everything's going digital. Sweden, they're already like 99% digital. And the UK is not far behind it. Italy was maybe way less, especially in Sicily. Sicily was still cash only.
Right.
But the further north we went in Italy, the more digital it went. So be careful what you ask for there.
I haven't been able to make a trip over to Europe. That's definitely, something on the
gotta go. You gotta go before it really goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm waiting for Pulse Chain, right? Because at this point in time, we ain't spending any additional funds that we have.
Your wife will love you for it, man. Your wife's gonna love you for it. Yeah. And if you need some cities to go to, I will hook you up. I'll put you to a list. And
definitely. We're definitely going to be looking, because I want to make sure that when we go for, a period of time, and we don't want to just go and do the, here for 2 weeks and then dip out. Like, we want to go over there. We want to stay. Yeah, exactly.
We were there 3 months, man. We were supposed to stay for 4.
I know. That's incredible. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So what do we got going on in chat real fast? We got Hexactly saying, hey, how's the temp in Panama, Randy? I hope I can come for the holidays next year.
Well, exactly. I don't know if you're American or European, but for Americans, it's about 82, 83. And for Europeans, everyone else, it's about, I'd say 30, 32, 33 today.
Now, is that pretty
Celsius.
common, pretty standard as well?
Yeah. Except the only difference is we have rainy season, right?
Okay.
Right now we're going into summer, so it's dry season, and it might not rain from the end of December all the way till April, and then rainy
Right.
season comes back, and it rains every day,
Wow.
at least an hour's worth, you know.
Yeah, that's why my wife moved from Seattle. She didn't like the rain every day, and we're in Texas now, and
Much
you
drier.
know, we got the weather, which is beautiful, where you randomly get the occasional ice and snow. But even like yesterday, I think it was 82 degrees as well, Fahrenheit. And so so we definitely got to experience. But then it's going to drop down to like 50 today, and it's going to drop to like 30 tomorrow. That's just what Texas does,
30,
and we're just
jeez.
used to it. Yeah, that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit, by the way. Yeah, so it's one of those that like it just continues to just
That's
drop
zero.
randomly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's 0
degrees
Celsius.
Yeah. So we got Tortoise Johnny. Hey, love the little chat. Got a little eyes. We got Chad. Thanks for streaming. Just subscribed. Keep up the good work.
Let's
Chad,
get into
thank you so
1,000.
much.
Let's get into
Yeah,
1,000 so we can
definitely,
monetize.
Yeah, my goal is always to get to 1,000. My goal is to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. Obviously, if we can get there, I'm happy. If it doesn't, I'm going to continue streaming. I do a daily stream for anyone who doesn't know, around noon Central Standard Time. I got Randy as a guest on today. I got other guests hopefully lined up in the lineup, to schedule, like Funding Jim and everyone else like that. So definitely looking to get that going. We got Hexactly saying bull market comes next year for sure. $5 and pray. Nice stream, my fellow Hexicans.
I got something to say about the bull. You don't have a question about when the bull market starts, do you?
Let me. If I do, no. I don't have any question about when the bull starts.
Let me answer that. Let me say something to that right now. So we have the Bitcoin halvening in February or March of 2024. That's
Okay.
the date of the Bitcoin halvening. Now, the bull market tends to, or I should say, the bear market ends 1 year before the beginning of the Bitcoin halvening. So after the Bitcoin halvening goes on, that's when the bull starts to go like this, right? But during that time, that 1 year in between, that's when we have accumulation phase. And the price might not pop off, but you're going to see that steady increase. You're going to see people coming back into the market because they know what's happening. So get ready. It's going to be exciting times coming. I think 2023 is going to look great, but Pulse Chain might have its own bull market because we might be ones kicking off the bull market. If it launches in May, holy crap, we could have.
I heard you say that. You were really hoping that Richard Hart does launch it because you want to add that as an accolade as well for him to say like, hey, we started the bull market. You know what I mean? And I think every accolade that Richard Hart has is just another one to chalk on. One of the reasons why Pulse Chain's taken so long, folks, is because one of the things that Richard Hart says is 100% uptime, flawless operation. So with Pulse Chain, it's a layer one. It's going to be a network that's always going to get updated through, consensus protocols and everything going forward. But he cannot have it shut down. He can't. He can't. He cannot stop it. He won't stop it no matter what. Like, I get when it's launched, there won't be any admin keys and everything, but there still has to be updates. He cannot have anything happen with it. And so he's making sure that it is good, folks.
Yes.
So when it launches, I'm excited. I think personally that Hex hits $3 in the next year and a half is what I've kind of said, and I think that kind of starts right around the time of the bull market and everything as well, because even like Richard Hart has said it himself, like 100x is possible for Hex over 100x coming from Ethereum or Bitcoin for sure. So if you have 100x from today's price, that's $3.
Yep.
So it's not hard math there.
I've said anywhere from $1.50 to $2.50, so you're looking at like 50x to 75x.
Yep. Yeah, and I think several people are gonna, obviously we're gonna have several levels that we have to get past and barriers that we have to break.
Always be a little bit on the pessimistic side. Yeah. Because if you're, I'm warning you, as a streamer, you always want to be on the low side so people don't talk shit.
Oh my God! Fair enough. Okay, cool. So, hey guys, $1.50, $2.
Because
people
will clip it and they'll be like, "But you said."
Yeah. Once I get past 1,000 subscribers, right? Well, I'm sure I'll start seeing clips of me saying some shit that I said in the past. CBDC sucks. Absolutely, exactly. We got hey there, hexagonal nerds or hexagonal nerds. Hey, Hexactly is actually from Norway, so it looks like you're
He's
using
used to the
that
freezing cold.
Celsius. Yeah, it looks like you're using the Celsius as well. Let me see. We got PS Joe 16 saying love the turnout. Don't forget to like and subscribe, folks. That is a great reminder. Do yourself and myself a favor, like and subscribe. Always good to see Randy spit some wisdom.
You're welcome.
Hey, and that's what that's what I'm really looking for as well. Because again, like, while we can talk about everything happening, there is so much wisdom that you have from the previous experience through cryptos and bear markets and everything. So in terms of like cryptocurrency, I guess bringing to the next question, right? What sets crypto apart from traditional currencies or investments? What's the thing that you say?
The speed of movement and self sovereignty. So we've got our we've got our wallets, whether it's MetaMask or the one I promote, Aurochs. We have our wallets. We're 100% in control of. We are the bank. We don't have the middleman D, right? Everyone uses likes to term everyone likes to use.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about that. So I have my money. When I want to cash out, I can cash out. My wife has all of her wallets. They're all 100% KYC to my wife's name. My wife's not a U.S. citizen. Okay. So when we cash out to her bank, there's no issues. It's self-sovereign. I love it. Nobody can do anything. Yeah, we can make a mistake and we can get hacked or something, but that is on us, right?
Exactly. And you have to take responsibility for sure.
100% take responsibility. Yep. When CBDCs come, you're not going to have any power at all. They're taking it all away from you. Crypto is going to be the opposite of that. It's like a parallel, right? You got your CBDCs and you got your crypto side, and they're not really going to interact that much, except when you take your CBDCs and put them into crypto, and you're taking some out. That's where it's going to be. But everything's coming to crypto, guys. Everything. The stock market, real estate, car sales, finance, everything is coming to crypto. And the CBDCs are going to be by themselves over here. That's going to be your currency, and everything else is going to be in crypto. That's just how I believe we're going.
For sure. I use Aurochs all the time. Randy, you were actually the reason why I actually got Aurochs in the very beginning. I've been using it for many minutes at this point in time. And so I actually use this for my charting on my streams, folks. And again, you can kind of see where the hex price is sitting right now. Looking at the Aurochs indicators, if you ever want to see, he switches it up to a monthly chart. And then we just look to see where we're at. And so we actually got the green buy signal for the indicator happening on Hex, folks. And this is, again, a simple indicator that lets you know based on where it is. So for anyone who is curious as to what's going on, definitely look into it. I think whenever, let me see, the Aurochs indicator. Yeah, so it's an in-house indicator which predicts the entry points at a 70% accuracy. Activate it and follow simple long and short arrows to realize profits today. Folks, this is a great method to just kind of see if you're ever looking to kind of know what's happening. So when you get some green indicators, red indicators, we're not day trading here. I'm not looking to day trade. Not something I want to do. But to anyone who's doing it, I think it is a great website for everyone to use.
Thank you. I appreciate you having you on the team, using our team Aurochs. It's just a simple tool. I've been using it since 2017. I got yelled at a bunch of times when I used to make my old videos because I used to use it on the hourly, the 4 hour. and Tara is the one that founders me like,
yeah,
like,
look how much it moves if you go with the 4. This is 4 hour here.
It's like bing, 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 bing.
Exactly. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell.
They're like, bro, that's not what it was built for.
Oh my gosh, too funny.
I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a trader, Right. I used to buy the rumor, sell the news. That was my trade. I never did the TA trades.
Okay, no, and I'm a big fan of that as well. So, I've been using it. I was actually using it right before I got into Hex all the way. You can use it for other items as well, folks. Of course. Just in case anyone who is curious and not only looking at Hex, there are many indicators out there and available for everyone to check out. So. Do yourself a favor, definitely check it out. It's getaurochs.com, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And maybe I can start including that in the web description for myself because it's something that I commonly use.
I recommend getting the wallet and using the wallet, and that's going to be a great referral system when that's fully launched and all the features are out. Right now, it's not working with hardware wallets, but they're rolling it out. Right. There's some really good features coming that I can't talk about, but if you have that, and you get people to sign up with your referral, you're getting 50% of all the fees forever.
Wow.
Forever. So imagine having a couple thousand people that are using the Aurochs wallet.
Yep.
Imagine you got 1,000 people into crypto and you got them all on MetaMask,
Right.
and they're using MetaMask for all their swaps and stuff, and that small percentage of the fees, you get to split it. And forever, that's a really good deal.
Yeah, that is a great deal. So I'll definitely start looking into that because it's something that, I got rid of using MetaMask. The only reason why I use MetaMask now is as a dummy account, and I use the hardware wallets as well. I use the stake wrap for my stakes at this moment in time. So definitely, big advantage there to anyone who's wanting to learn on that.
Yeah, let me tell you one thing about the Aurochs wallet that sets it apart from MetaMask.
Yep.
Is that you can do simulations. So when you're doing a transaction, before you do any transaction in Web3, you go ahead and you do a simulation first to see if you're going to get rugged, see if you're going to get hacked or something like that. The wallet will tell you, oh, be careful here. This isn't a safe transaction. So it keeps you from getting messed up. And Aurochs, obviously, they have that, but MetaMask doesn't have it. So a lot of people are still getting hacked. It's really sad.
Yeah, and now MetaMask is doing the, inferior with, giving out your data and your IP and your wallet address is being tracked. And so for those of y'all who aren't staying up to date with all this, yeah, absolutely. I could definitely put the link.
Exactly was asking where they can get the link. Any one of my videos, I put it underneath. It's in the bottom. It's underneath in the text section on YouTube.
And then I'll just put the address here that I have just to make it simple. But yeah, I don't know if you get using your links. I don't know if there's anything that you like a referral or anything.
Yeah, there's a referral link for the wallet.
For the wallet, definitely.
But to use the Aurochs indicator and all that, that's the platform. That has nothing to do with referrals. So get Aurochs.com. That's what you got to use.
Yep, and I just put that in the chat to anyone who's wanting to check out the link for that as well. So Derek actually asked on this one. Is there a way to fiat on-ramp with Aurochs? And I guess he's referring to the Aurochs wallet.
No, not yet. They use Change Now. Change Now is the system they have inside the platform.
I love Change Now. I recommended it in the very beginning to a lot of my friends who aren't familiar with decentralization because it's tough getting into the world of crypto, folks.
Yeah.
And Change Now is as simple as you can make it. You have
that's who they partnered with. They don't own Change Now, but they partnered with Change Now because they're a really good system.
Yeah, I've been recommending them for, a year and a half as well, because that's, guys, I think it's actually on one of my videos, how to buy Hex, if I'm not mistaken. I think I had 3 ways to buy Hex, so it was a video that I did, but changenow.io is the website that you can use, and it allows you to enter in your credit card or, debit card, and then you can convert it straight from that into your crypto, and then you just say where you want it sent to.
Yep.
And you just give it the address, and it sends it there. Now, you aren't going to get as good of the exchange rate, if you will, compared to someone going through Uniswap or Matcha.xyz or 1inch.io, but in terms of ease, so much easier. So
absolutely.
Okay, definitely agree, appreciate that.
And you can do that right on the terminal for Get Aurochs. They
awesome.
have down the bottom right, I believe. They may have moved it, but it's right on the website.
Oh, and I got it zoomed in all the way, so I can't really see it right here. But yeah, I was gonna see. And then we have Hexactly saying, when people get to know how CBDC works, I think many will buy real crypto like Hex, Pulse, and Pulse X.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not totally against the CBDCs. There's a greed factor that understands that when people come into CBDCs and then they're like, oh, I have crypto, because it's kind of like crypto except it's centralized, right?
Right.
They're going to start understanding how crypto works, and they're going to open their eyes and be like, oh, this stuff's not a scam. If the government's using it, it can't be a scam. So then they're going to start bringing money over to us.
Yeah, and anyone who's going to fall for the CBDCs, it's it's a tough thing to realize that you're getting definitely take advantage of in terms of your personal sovereignty is going to be gone. You won't have any control of if you have someone who can just shut off your account, that's not cool. If you have someone who can just say no, you can't use that money, okay. You can go fuck off real fast. You know what I mean? I'm not playing that game for sure.
Well, they're gonna have the universal basic income. It's gonna be rolled out around the world. The people that survived the juice that we recently got, the people who survived, they're gonna be all put on universal basic income. AI is gonna take over computers and robots are gonna take over most of the low paying jobs.
Yep.
And even high paying jobs like your job, your finance.
Yep.
Gone. Bye bye. Lawyers. Gone. Those kind of jobs are all disappearing.
this AI stuff is wild. I've been messing with it on like Stable Diffusion, and I've been messing with it in terms of like, you can see some videos that I played around with where I changed a couple of Hexagon videos, like the Hex Anthem and stuff. I made it into a Stable Diffusion music video on one of them. You know what I mean? Just because it's like, this is interesting to me, folks. Like, and I heard you say it yesterday as well on your stream that, or today, that again, the AI is definitely going to be the world that you're investing some time and some knowledge into. I'm in the same boat as well. The Chat GPT-3 is world above. Like, it's writing code over here better than someone who writes code. I saw that tweet. This thing just wrote better code than I did, and he's a professional developer. You know what I mean? And you can literally say, hey, I saw, I don't know, it was like, who was it that said, like, basically design the Hex contract. And
was it Tanto? Tanto
yeah,
Tonini?
Tanto, yeah. Yeah, he's over here like, hey, write down the Solidity code for this. And it, like, writes down the entire freaking code. Like, what? That's insane. So, big fan of where AI is about to take us as well. Because it's, we got plenty of world to live.
Maybe it's time for me to I have a great plan for a crypto that works in the Hex community.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I haven't done it is because developers. I can't stand developers. I've lost so much money in my last project. I went through 3 sets of developers and they all screwed me. Oh, you got to pay us up front. Pay them up front. They're not delivering. They're not, the crap code, whatever it was. And it's the only reason why I haven't delivered it. And so maybe this is the opportunity to build this in the bull market or the bear market. So when we start going in the bull, I can launch it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it happens.
I'm telling you, like, it is wild. It literally wrote down Solidity code all the way, and like, it's really good Solidity code. It's not like it's nonsensical. It's not like there's errors. There's some freaking phenomenal code. Now, I'm by no means a developer, so like, could there have been errors? Sure, I'm sure there was. You know what I mean? But based on someone who is a developer saying this thing's phenomenal, I'm gonna probably listen to him. So.
Absolutely.
Let me see on this one, Randy. So again, you've been in this game for a bit. Like, what advice do you have to give to someone who's just now getting started with crypto, whether it be trading, which I don't advise, but cryptocurrencies?
Well, the biggest thing is to be careful who you listen to. You gotta, the people that were big furus in the market during the bull cycle, be careful of those folks because they have an agenda. Now, I even go back, and I was guilty in 2016, 2017 when I was hired to work with projects.
Yep.
I was usually either the marketing lead or I was one of the people on the team. I would hire the furus. The guys that people watch all the time. I've known these people back from 2016, 2017. I negotiated with them how much I have to pay them, right? Whether it was 10 grand to mention them mention us in a tweet or a video, 25 grand to have an interview. I was the one doing these things. All right.
Wow.
And be careful who you listen to, because these projects, especially in 2017, it was so much garbage. And this year, you know what? There was garbage too in 2020 and 2021, but I didn't see it because I wasn't participating. I was no longer a marketing lead on projects.
Right.
So, I mean, zero. The only thing I did was Hex the whole time pretty much. And I did help out Etta because Mike was my friend. And so I just helped him launch his project.
Right.
And that at no cost, So be careful,
careful
guys.
Who you listen to. That is words of wisdom for sure. And guys,
listen to Richard. Richard's, I mean, if I'm going to say one person to listen to, if you can find one, listen to Richard. The thing is, he's not streaming that much anymore.
I know, man, and I got my own views as to why I think he's trying to not get taken off the platform from someone trying to censor him before he launches Pulse Chain, because I think he wants to announce it on all platforms right away. And so he's found out that he's not getting banned from Instagram for posting pictures. He's not getting banned on Twitter for doing anything, but he's been banned from YouTube like 3 or 4 different times.
Yes.
And I think he doesn't want the last one to be the time where he no longer gets access to it. So that's my personal reason as to why I think he isn't streaming anymore. But good gosh, like the knowledge that he would drop on his streams, oh my God, they were incredible. And he would do these, 5-hour long streams and just sit there and just chat. It wasn't even, and someone would say something stupid and he's like, dude, listen, dumb. Like, and then, but like, he says it in such a way that like, if you can listen to him. And so I actually got pointed in the direction of Richard Hart from Dr. Kendall in the community, in the Hex community, as people know him. He was the one calling for $8 hex in the bull market back then. So we all have our own reasons and numbers, but he actually just pointed me in the direction of Richard Hart. He's like, I know him for 10 plus years. We go way back, and so we were doing investing together and all that, and just talking about trades and stuff that we were doing. And then he found out I was getting into crypto, and he was like, guys, you should check out these streamers. I think it was Ivan on Tech, Richard Hart, and it was Alex Mashinsky or something like that. No, not Alex Mashinsky. Who's the freaking founder of Cardano? Charles Hodgkins.
Hodgkinson.
Yeah, so Hodgkinson. Yeah, so he was like, so J-Man in the house. Yeah, so he was like, hey, you should check out these streamers. And then I listened to Richard Hart on his streams, and I was like, this dude's only telling the truth. It's only facts, and I'm very logical when it comes to certain things. And so if you have someone who's literally just telling you facts, it's no perspective, it's no point of view. He's not saying his own ideas or philosophy. He's just saying like these are the facts. And that's all I heard when I heard him talk. And so for me, that's when, like you said, it just like you see Hex, you see Richard. How can you say anything different? But people are gonna say what they want.
Imagine being a mod. I was a mod for all these fucking 5-hour streams. And I used to get out, my brain was like, you put it in the blender. And after, because see, you guys get to watch the stream. Right. You're watching, Richard talking and dropping knowledge. And here I am in the background blocking all these stupid ass commenters saying this dumbass shit. I'm like, I get off and I'd be mentally drained, man. It was like,
yeah, I bet. I can't even imagine trying to be
pour acid. Just pour acid in my brain, man. it was terrible.
It's going to be better. You're going to feel better if you just pour acid, for sure.
And then one time in the middle of the stream, or actually he did it twice. He thanked me on stream. He's like, because he could see that when you're a streamer, you could see who's the one doing all the work as your mods. Okay. And there was a couple streams where I was just on fire, man. And Richard's like, Randy, thank you for being here tonight. You're the only one working, or something like that. I'm like, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, Pepe, I appreciate you tuning in. I actually made you a mod as well. I'm not too familiar with how mods work in this game for YouTube, and I know I've had a couple I've had a couple of spam comments come through just briefly, and I don't know if mods have already taken them down, or if because I had to take a couple down before the spam comments when they first got started. But I'm growing, I'm learning, and so
sometimes you see them, but sometimes if you get behind, the faster you grow, the bigger your channel gets. You can't see down below. You're still up above, so you need mods to be able to handle that for you.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we have Derek actually saying, guys, what do you think about vertical integration? Like what Richard Hart wants to do with the Pulse ecosystem. So what are your thoughts on the vertical integration, Randy?
Vertical integration is amazing because what it does, it just keeps building. It's like having a solid foundation. The foundation was Hex, right? Yep. But now Pulse Chain's coming, so the first floor now, the entrance to the building is going to be Pulse Chain. And then people are going to find Hex because they come into Pulse Chain. That's hysterical to me. Everyone called Hex a scam, but now they're coming in on the first floor and they're going to find, they're like, oh, Pulse Chain, this is amazing. It works great. Then they're going to find out, oh, Pulse Chain was designed for this guy. Maybe I should buy some Hex. Yeah. And it's going to be onboarding for Hex. And the further we go, there you go, nice. We're going to go Pulse X, and then he's going to he's talking about dropping a wallet too. Yep. But we're nowhere near that at this point. Focus on launching Pulse Chain. Right. You got the version 3 of Uniswap, which will be Pulse X will be updated to. That's another reason why we could be delayed, is that Richard could be waiting for the version 3 of Uniswap to become open source, and that's happening in May. So that could be another reason for a delay.
Yeah, no.
But the more stuff that we have, the better.
I was also thinking the same thing. He was waiting for that to be able to be launched because he does want to copy that straight over and not play around with trying to upgrade it later and insert some sort of flaw.
So there's two valid reasons, right? Two valid reasons for the delay. One is I think he wants to launch at the bottom of the bull or bottom of the bear. Yep. Keep mixing this stuff up, and then
I know, me too.
and then have the Uniswap version 3 available.
Cool. Yeah. So I think based on those two items, I think he's definitely is waiting for sure. Now again, like this comes from two different methods that you have to look at. Like, is it ready to launch and could it launch now? Sure. Could it always get better, and is it continuing to improve while it's not being launched? It is. I'm thankful it hasn't launched yet personally, because now we got the E2.0 fork that we didn't have before. Because there was like E2.0 has been a talk for the last freaking years, folks.
Ever since I've been in crypto.
Yeah, like so you have to imagine you have this E2.0. There was always this thought, And so, like, before, there was a chance that it could have launched sooner. And then once we found out that ETH 2.0 is actually launching in 2022, okay, it makes sense to delay because now we get all the upgrades going forward in the future, like sharding and all the other stuff they have implemented on the roadmap.
Yeah, I think it was
Now,
going back for me. It was like 2015 or so when they first started talking about that because we
Jesus.
had the DAO hack, and
Yep.
right up it was ETH ICO, then the DAO ICO, then we had the DAO hack, and
Right.
shortly after that they started talking about ETH 2.0 going proof of stake.
Now, vertical integration, just to make sure I understand this, Derek, are you talking about like full fiat and full encapsulated in its own world? Is that what you talk about by vertical integration? Because that's what I almost see when that's my interpretation when I hear someone say vertical integration. I'm thinking they're talking about this whole little ecosystem that can't be affected by the market, that can't be affected by, the outside influences like a central exchange being hacked and whatever because it's in this own little ecosystem. Is that do I understand that correctly or am I interpreting it wrong? Maybe.
But that can't happen because now we have cross chain ecosystems. Like look at the Aurochs wallet. The Aurochs
Right.
wallet's a perfect example. You're going to have Pulse Chain as an RPC, and
Okay.
it's another EVM or Ethereum virtual machine. So
Right.
you've got Avalanche over here. You got Matic or Polygon. You got Pulse Chain. You have Ethereum. You got Ethereum POW. If you're using the Aurochs wallet, you could just do swaps within your wallet from the different chains. So vertical integration now
Oh.
is way different than it was if this was happening 5 years ago.
Okay. Cool.
Because
Okay.
cross
Cool.
chain just made all that obsolete.
Possible. Yeah. Yeah. Cross train and well, I mean that's one of the issues that we have is bridges in general has been known for.
Derek
long.
says he does say like Apple and Amazon. No,
Okay, cool, right
that
here, yep.
it's not. It can't be like that anymore. Just because cross chain just made that obsolete.
Awesome. Well, that's a great. That's why we have Randy in the house, right? We want to get everyone's perspective. We got Ozzy Stone saying, "Great stream. Randy is awesome. I
Thank you, Ozzy.
1,000% agree. Thank you so much." We got J Man in the house. J Man also saying, "ATX and Randy, good to see both of you. Good to see you as well, J Man." We got Pepe saying, "Thanks. I will do my best with respect." So I gave him the wrench.
Go get him, Pepe.
Pepe was the mod. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, for anyone who is getting the wrench, like, don't make it your due diligence. Enjoy the streams. I don't have, the spam coming through at this moment in time, so you just get to sit back and be blue and chat. And
Oh, you will. You will. They will come. Believe me. Some of the shit that I see come
you
through
build
chat.
it, they will come, right? That's one of those, scenarios. So, J-Man's also saying super excited for Pulse Chain. Pulse X is going to be big. Yeah, and then we have I'm glad to wait launching at the bottom is way more bullish. Yeah, we're not gonna have to fight so many we don't have to fight so many levels of resistance as well. So if you launch at the bear, I think Crypto Coffee even said it too during his streams. It's like if you launch at the bear, you only have the potential to go up. Right? Because
Blue
it's
skies.
like yeah, exactly. Blue skies, exactly. And if you launch in the bull market, did I say it backwards? If you launch in the bear, you only have the potential to go up. If you launch in the bull, there's a chance that dip's gonna come real quick, very very fast. So much for Pulse Chain that you do see something like Hex, the 95% drop, 99% drop, whatever, and then you have levels of resistance that you have to get past every single time, and those levels of resistance can be a bitch sometimes. So I think it's much better to launch in the bear. I think the bear's coming up to an end soon enough in the next 6 months or whatever. I don't know how long it's gonna last for. We've been over a year now at this point in time. From isn't that from the 69K top, right? That's not even the 65K. We're
Right.
a year and a half on there. But at this point in time, we've got other factors happening too. So
The macro world is screwed, so it could
macro
delay us a
world
little
is
bit.
effed right now for sure. So let me just kind of ask you this. I know we got about 40 minutes left before you got to get going. So I'm going to take advantage of all the time I can with you, Randy. If you got to head out before then, you just let me know.
Football practice with my son at 3 p.m.
Exactly,
I'm on Eastern Standard, so.
Okay. And then we have, the next question that I has, what's been probably one of the most surprising things you've seen in the crypto space?
I'm gonna keep this one within Hex right now. The way that Richard was treated, I did not expect that. I did not expect the people that I respected would treat him so poorly, and then treat me so poorly. calling me a scammer because I was one of the few people that was writing positive articles about Hex in the beginning. I did not expect people to come at me with knives. I lost 2,000 followers on Twitter like overnight. It was crazy. Andreas Antonopoulos called me a scammer openly on Twitter.
Wow.
Because of my articles, because I was supporting Hex. And here's a guy I know personally, right? I met him in person multiple times. Very sad turn of events. And Tone Bays, who I considered a crypto, I say acquaintance, because we used to go to all, Furu trader. We used to go to all the events together. It was just really sad to see those things happen. Now, what else bothers me is, like I was saying earlier in the show, 2017 changed everything. It went from we are going to get rid of the banking system to oh shit, let's embrace the banking system. We want regulation. We want the banks to get involved. Oh my God, JP Morgan says that Hex is amazing, or not Hex, but crypto's amazing. They're buying Bitcoin. Oh, this is great. And I was like, oh hell no. This is not why I got into this shit. And I was just thankful that Hex came along because it was back to the original foundations and ideas that I had about crypto.
True DeFi.
True DeFi.
Yeah.
And then the founder of ETA, this guy comes at me, who I considered a friend. He says, I cannot, I'm going to actually read the tweet to you.
Love it.
Or not the tweet, but what he responded with.
Yeah.
He says, LOL, if you think Hex is true DeFi, this discussion is over. I was like,
oh
what?
Gosh, people, I don't understand that perspective. Like, how can you argue with something that's immutable, that's already launched, that has no admin keys? Like, oh my God, they're the founder, he's not anonymous. Like, man.
I was so disappointed. I was like, I cannot believe this just happened. And here's a person that I respected. He comes from CFI. He's a Switzerland banker, right? And I trusted him on that, but he's never once respected the fact that I was big in Hex. Never once. And then he comes out with that comment. I was like, oh, hell no.
Well, and that's
you
what
don't talk to
annoys
me like that.
Yeah, that's what annoys me is I'm like, had it been someone else that launched Hex and not Richard Hart, I think and that's so sad. It would have been perceived as like a completely different thing. Like if Charles Hoskinson came out after coming out with Cardano, for example, and he's working on that, and then he comes out with Hex and people are like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I don't think the same reaction would happen. And the amount of pushback that he gets, I get you're always going to have haters. The haters are going to be here. They're here to stick around. They can't get rid of them. But the amount of pushback that he has to this day, shocking. I cannot understand why someone just can't get past the way he talks just to understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even in
or the clothes that he wears.
Or the clothes, yeah. God forbid he wears something snazzy or fancy or shiny or,
It took me 2 years to recover from promoting Hex. It took me 2 years. I lost my position at Crypto Daily UK because I was writing about Hex.
I remember the time when you came out on stream talking about, you came out, and this was back when the bull market was almost here with Hex as well. We were getting into higher products or profits. And, people, you actually said, I don't need this job, right? And that was something that you were like, guys, I don't understand your anger or hate against Richard Hart, but it is true DeFi. It is here to stick around. And if you do not miss this, or if you don't catch it, then you're just missing the boat. I can't remember the exact phrase, but you left the company because they almost couldn't understand. And how was that transition for you? Because that was something that.
Well, I was not unpaid. I wasn't getting paid to be with
okay.
But my payment was the fact that I got on Google News. Right. So I would write content, and that content would hit Google News. So I wrote 4 articles about Hex.
Right.
And to this day, they're probably the top articles seen about Hex itself, besides the one where someone wrote about Hex as a scam.
Right.
But anytime you put something is a scam, it's going to be the top clicked link ever on Google. It's just how it goes. Negativity always wins when it comes to Trump's positive. Always. You when it comes to social media and things, it's always got more clicks.
Agreed.
But I can't compete because I don't write negative stuff.
And then you got we got Kelt Hex actually, yeah, Celtics saying good morning. I'm very sorry to hear all that. You know, this is in regards to, you know, the most surprising thing that you had almost seen through this time in your crypto world, if you will. And so that's definitely shocking to hear. You know, wholesale circuit isn't the retail circuit. So, you know, Celtics is definitely right there with you. I think we all are. We all understand where it was and how it worked and how it went down. It's sad that people just won't open their eyes to a different perspective. We got Derek Marquez saying, so optimistic about this space. I found Hex at its previous all-time high. Following Richard and the Hex community saved me from issues like FTX. Facts. Very happy for my big Hex discounts. All about perspective.
Perspective.
Yeah, dude. Like Derek, right there with you. I was invested in Voyager, BlockFi. I was invested, and this is prior to them collapsing, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I was so thankful whenever you start seeing these companies go bankrupt, and then you just see Hex users unaffected. Yeah. And until you're part of the Hex community, you don't understand what that means. But Hex users unaffected means we don't have any worries about what they're doing, right? There's literally no issues that we have. We don't worry about the price being sold, and I think people want Hex on centralized exchanges, but they don't realize that it would be opening up the world of hurt to everyone else who's also doing the centralized exchanges. So I'm not a fan if we ever do get Hex on there. I hope it's just a very small amount.
Pulse chain will be.
Okay, yeah, definitely think
we can't avoid that.
Well, it has to because it's a layer 1, right?
Yeah, all the exchanges are going to have it. Every exchange is going to get a whole bunch.
Okay, cool. Well, and I think they also sacrifice as well. You know, some of the top wallets, and I can't prove any of that. That's just all speculation. Hexactly says, got your link, Randy, and I'm in the Aurochs wallet. Hey,
welcome.
Check it out. Look at that. Yeah, Celtics actually says Randy Hilarski. Yeah, all the love for Randy Hilarski. Facts, dude. And Randy, got some more questions for you if you got some time, man.
Let's do it. All right, I got about 25 more minutes.
That works for me. So, what do you think the biggest threat to crypto space is? What is your biggest the biggest threat that you have?
Bankers. The bankers and VCs coming in think they own this space. They will learn. The pain will come to them. This is not social media. You know, social media VCs came in. They pumped Facebook. They pumped Twitter and those kind of things.
Right.
They could come in and like they did with Uniswap, but as long as open source is still there, decentralization is going to win.
Okay.
We're fine.
I love hearing that as well, and that's exactly what I believe too, guys. You know, people who are coming in or people who don't understand how crypto is supposed to be, they are here for the money grab, like you talked about. And that was part of the big thing that happened in 2018, and we started seeing all these centralized exchanges coming on board, and everyone getting institutions coming on board, and like they don't understand crypto. They're just in it because, you know, it's the next thing, and they're trying to get into something early. Yeah. But you know, they don't understand that, yeah, it can dip, and like, you know, Elon saying what he said, Bitcoin's so great, and then he, you know, promotes it, you can buy Tesla, and then he says, oh, you know, after selling it, I'm just testing out liquidity, and then he says, oh, you can't buy Teslas anymore with Bitcoin because it, you know, is bad for the environment. Like, shut up, dude. Shut up. Like, whatever your reasons are, that's garbage in my opinion.
Don't follow Elon for your life advice.
Facts, dude. Like, anyone who's following Elon and trying to get the next, you know, oh my God, he tweeted, I have to go buy it. Like, you're late. Don't. Just don't. Go look at something else. Turn off the media, whatever you gotta do. So
I think he has handlers. He's got social media account handlers that manage his social media. Don't think that's all his own thoughts.
I'm sure he does. So do you think there's ever going to be a time where crypto becomes widely accepted either as a form of payment or just becomes widely accepted in mainstream adoption?
Yeah, absolutely. So we already saw El Salvador make it legal tender. Bitcoin, Panama, we did have the law. It was written, it was ready to go, but the president wouldn't sign it off. This was like I was on vacation, so it had to be in May or so. I was in Europe at the time.
Yep.
So the president said, no, send this back. We need more clarification of, you know, how this is going to work with the banks and those kind of things. So Panama's well on its way. We had Tower Bank, which you can see from my rooftop when I'm doing my videos. They now have crypto accounts. You just open a crypto account, and it, you know, you can, for a small fee, I think it's like 2%, you can go in and out. excuse me, and other banks are doing that as well. So Panama's coming along. Costa Rica just announced that you don't have to pay taxes on your crypto. Portugal is another country that is pretty crypto friendly, but they are talking about some kinds of taxes. Now it's so funny. They got the hook in everyone's mouth, and everyone started moving to Portugal, and now they're starting to roll back those ideas like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. It's so ridiculous. And then now people are like, oh, as the U.S. citizen, they're like, oh, you can go to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's a great choice, yeah, but Puerto Rico's still in the United States. And what if Puerto Rico decides one day they become a state? Remember, they're talking about them being the 51st state. So if they become the 51st state, then all that shit's gone.
Maybe Texas secedes and they become the 50th state.
50th.
that's what Crypto Coffees and Rags to Riches got going on with the Texas token. I'm like, I don't want to see Texas secede, but whatever. I don't want to be a part of it. It could, Texas is massive, and there's a lot of people who truly believe. So do you think so? After all this talk, especially if you have stuff becoming legal tender, if you have other, not only countries, but countries and companies and institutions taking on crypto, like, do you think there's going to be regulators in the space? Unfortunately, like when you start opening up that world, you have to bring in regulators. There's just no way around it. So how should regulators more or less approach the crypto space? Because it is different from a traditional world.
Well, but the traditional world's all coming to crypto. So they're going to be able to regulate the offboarding. Right?
Okay. Right.
Maybe they can regulate your onboarding and your offboarding, and that's going to be through the CBDCs. That's how they're going to regulate it. The SEC and the CFTC right now in the United States, they're just grasping for power.
Right.
They're like, how can we get some power in this situation? We're losing our strengths. Well, it's because that's what governments do. That's what government people do. They're always looking for the next level of power. And when they start losing their control, they get desperate. So that's why I think what you see Jerome Powell doing right now, and these guys, they're all talking down crypto because they need to get the CBDC launched so that they can have control again. That's what's going to happen around the world. It's going to be the offboarding and the onboarding where they have to try to control. And you're not going to see as many projects because the SEC can come after everybody. Anybody who launches a project and send out letters saying, oh, did you make money on this? How was it a fair launch? And those kind of things. And I expect more of that to happen.
But it takes years for those things to develop in terms of like, so it's like even if they come with something, again, that's something that they're going to get 2 years down the road and they probably have fixed the issue by then, So, I think Ethereum came out and they were saying that was a, SEC in the beginning because of its ICO, and then they switched the mechanics, I think, in the beginning, and I wasn't there for the whole launch of Ethereum and everything.
Well, it's official now that the WEF is part of Ethereum.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm staying away. I can't wait for Pulse Chain to go live because that's going to be Ethereum without the WEF involved.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary.
Got a Huey flying overhead. Panama still has Hueys.
Yeah.
Hear that thumb?
Yep. Yep. The little double Huey. My goodness.
That's old school military right there. When you know what a Huey sounds like.
Yep. You get the little double choppers happening. Oh my god.
2 blades.
Yeah. Those are freaking wild. So what do you think some of the biggest risks, man? Like in terms of like everything happening, what are the biggest risks with this crypto space?
The biggest risk in this crypto space, it's got to be people putting too much trust in the CBDCs. I think that's my biggest worry, is that people are going to lose focus and they're going to think the CBDCs are putting the end to crypto. And what it will do is it will delay the growth of crypto for a few years because people are going to be too fearful. They're going to be always worried that the regulators are going to crush crypto.
Right.
It's up to us to raise the banner. And, remember that movie, The Patriot? With Mel Gibson? You know, at the end where the flag goes down and he pulls it up and he just keeps running up the hill with the flag.
Right.
Well, that's what we need to do right now. We as decentralized fans, anytime these people in front of us are dropping the flag, whether it be someone like Trace Mayer, who was a good friend of mine, but totally disappeared from crypto. He was the biggest promoter of Bitcoin back in the day that I knew of. Well, Trace has gone totally silent. I have no idea where he is. He's gone, right?
Wow.
So they dropped their flags. Now it's time for us to carry the flag of
Raise,
decentralization.
Yep. No, and that's again coming from everyone too. The CBDCs is definitely coming faster than anyone knows, and I think people are going to try to switch over because it's going to be exactly like you said, switch over and open an account for the $100 or $500. It's the same gimmick they're going to use as credit cards use. Spend X amount of money in 3 months time, and we'll credit your account with an additional $500, whatever. They're going to use those same gimmicks as well. So yeah, let me see on this one. I got this fun little chat exactly pulling up some fun question here. I heard that if you stake 100 million PulseX, the daily interest was $800. Is that correct? That was on the testnet V3 I wish testnet V3.
2B.
Good gosh.
2B.
Yeah, on testnet V2B. Yeah, that was something that we actually got a chance to see was single-sided staking and single-sided liquidity. It's since been taken down, and you can no longer like use that as a metric because that was showing up the incentive token or whatever it was that they had it named for. And I had actually had all this planned. It was like I'll open up 10 wallets and this will do everything, and because it was like everything that I saw back then was a certain way that I was like I can make money every single day, And I think we're still going to be able to use that as a metric. We just don't know what that's going to be, unfortunately.
Keyword, guys, testnet.
Yeah, testnet.
You can't trust it.
And there's no one selling on testnet, or if there is, there's not someone selling big.
It's not real.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no one like bringing down the price, because I think we saw the hex price, reach like $3 over there on testnet. I don't even know let me see what it's at right now. That's a good question. Testnet.v2b. Nope. V2B. Yeah, let me just see because I'm very curious. I haven't looked over on the testnet in a little while. And
remember that the incentive token, typically incentive tokens go down in value really quick.
Yep.
You got to remember that too.
And hex. So what if I do just $100? I'll just do $1. What's the price of hex right now? Yeah, no, that's absolutely wild. So even for $1, they're basically saying you can get 1 hex. So it's assuming that the price of hex is like $1 right now. And that'll be a day, but yeah, we're definitely not there yet. We're not even close at this moment in time. So we got time to figure it out, folks. So definitely PulseX is worth 0 right now, facts, because it's not out yet. You can always speculate, if the price is 0.0001, that's the launch price. I think the price is going to be way different than launch price because we just had so much time. There's so much built up demand at this point. Yeah. We got Hex Huddle saying, "Hey y'all, appreciate you tuning in. Definitely another
Welcome.
Big content or big part of the channel for myself who tunes in on each of my streams."
Me too.
Oh, love it. Yeah, we definitely have everyone kind of like tuning in with everyone. I don't know in that case, yeah, because PulseX taking rewards, incentive tokens, not PulseX, yeah. So there's no way of knowing. The incentive tokens are going to be so different than people know, because the incentive tokens are given out as a protocol from the place that's trying to offer you the liquidity, right?
Yep.
And so like they're going to offer you probably a different coin than PulseX. They say, hey, stake on here and we'll offer you our coin instead.
And Richard says he doesn't even care about that token. He's not even worried about
literally
it.
a token that he doesn't care about. So be careful. You can always plan and speculate for sure. Definitely play around with the testnet if you haven't had a chance to. I've done my playing until V3 comes around, but if you haven't even hopped on, try to put a limit order on the PulseX, side and try to make it work.
I'm just waiting for version 3 because I want to play with what's actually going to be operating.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I haven't messed with the Pulse chain. I've looked at the stack balances or anything since everything's been updated. But if you haven't had a chance to try it yet, maybe try it. We have 11 a.m. here in the morning, but technically I feel late. Yeah,
West Coaster.
We're going to be hopping off stream here soon as well. We got Caltech saying, Randy Hilarski, what would you think if Hex was the reward instead of the incentive token?
Oh, that would be cool.
Really?
That would be cool because then we'd have, but no new inflation.
Okay.
What if it came from the OA?
Oh,
and it'd be a great way for the OA to distribute coins.
Okay, I like that idea. The reason why I found some issues with Hex already is because like you have to sell your Hex to profit, which is like you don't want to sell the gold. Like that's that is a problem. I didn't think about that part. Yeah, I don't like every time I end the stake, I'm like I don't want to sell any.
So yeah, but if it was, I mean, some
If
people
it
are gonna
came from
sell.
no way, oh my god, that's a phenomenal time, and then it slowly bleeds itself out into oh my god, that would be incredible. So I can agree with that for sure. We were at a 2 hex for $1 at some point. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm
Jeez.
saying. Like it got wild on the test net for a little bit, and the numbers just got absolutely crazy. Exactly. Anyhow, I'm so excited. Yeah, it is very exciting on all of this. Exactly. We got Hexodl saying incentives is just a placeholder. Absolutely, and we definitely know that because it's going to be coming from it. Everyone's saying 100%. So I got, I think, 2 more questions, and then I know you got to hop off, but I appreciate all the information you've already shared. So, what do you think this crypto landscape is going to look like in 5 years, Randy?
Um, a lot the people that are listening now are going to be pretty wealthy, and from what I found is the people that are listening in this bear market are going to be the ones who are wealthy 5 years from now. So you guys are going to be the ones molding the future market. So it behooves us to train our minds, be ready for the next bear, because 5 years from now you're getting close to a new bull. I mean,
Yep.
Next bull market. Geez. So
I know,
just be
that's what-
prepared for it. It's going to be a whole different landscape, but it's you guys getting educated now and gaining your knowledge and your wisdom to educate the younger folks that are coming in. Like you were saying earlier, like Richard's streams are all about education, and he doesn't put too much of his opinion in things, and most of it's facts, right? I'm different. I'm
Yep.
90% opinion. So I put my political stance, I put it how I feel about things,
Right,
and in all my
right,
streams I'm very
Right. We
vocal.
appreciate that, Randy. We really do.
I'm very different than Richard when it comes to that. So we need you guys to find your voice. Like ATX he's launching his channel in a bear market. When the bull market comes, he's going to have exponential growth, especially if he keeps delivering quality stuff, right? And then he monetizes it, so then he never has to sell his crypto
Yep.
because you constantly have money coming in from your channel. So I just behoove you guys go out and just prepare. 5 years is not a long time. My son
Really
just
not.
turned. My son is turning 5 next month.
And that's
And
what I try to tell everyone too. Like, look at, because again, like we have such a short-term vision, but look at literally like either you have your kids that you already have. Like my daughter's 11 and my son's 9. That is freaking mind-blowing, folks. Like, you don't expect, and we're talking what 7 years she's on her own almost. Like, God, she's already past the halfway point. My son's already past the halfway point, and like that's some scary stuff. And so I'm right there with you because like in crypto terms, yeah, we're like, oh my God, this is dragging on. In my head, I'm like, holy shit, it's December. Like,
Yep.
Oh my gosh, another year's passed, and you don't even realize it.
I told my wife last night, we were at the
blinking.
Christmas parade last night, and I said, babe,
Yep.
I said, you realize he's 5 years old? These precious Christmases that we have with him, we're only having one child. We only
Yep.
have a few left.
Yep.
Only a few left. And I said, just be prepared mentally, because when he's 10, he's going to be playing video games in his room, ignoring us.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they get their gifts, and you get them all the toys, and then they do their thing. Especially with technology the way it is now.
Yeah.
It's made it to where it's that much harder to almost remain that close, tight-knit family. And especially in like bigger houses and everything like
Yeah.
that. Like, it's tough because when you have everyone to have their own space, it's difficult. So we make it a thing where at least every Friday we do a movie night where we have a little theater room and we have everyone come together and we sit down, and that's just something that we've always done for my wife and I, and then we just implemented it with our kids as well.
Absolutely.
So definitely have something to keep you always together. Let me see on this one, and then let me see. We got it's Famous's idea, but Richard is not coming and understanding. I'm not sure. I
Maybe
understand
he's talking about Hex being used as the incentive token.
Okay,
I got.
cool.
I'm interviewing Buck on Thursday night. Buck
Okay.
from Famous is coming on Thursday night.
Nice. Well, I'll be tuning in on that one.
It's
for
gonna be
sure.
interesting.
And we got Hexactly. Hex ladder will be good for our kids. Yeah.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal thing. And so, like, again, have a reason as to why you stake if you have a ladder. I think it's just going to help you maintain your ladder position that much more overall for anyone who is tuning in. But I know I got to let Randy go. I don't want to, but, in this scenario, he's also got a life. But folks, again, for anyone who is tuning in on this channel right now, if you haven't subscribed already, do me and yourself a favor. Click on the subscribe button down in the link below. To anyone who is tuning in and joining, thank you again. You're greatly appreciated. It was great having Randy on this stream. Randy, thank you for spending your time on this with us, sharing the knowledge and wise words of wisdom. And again, just being part of learning how to protect our wealth, how to protect our funds, and what may be possible in the future as well. So,
yes,
folks,
absolutely.
I appreciate Randy having. Does anyone else have anything while I got Randy here, real fast?
Yeah, your background is cool that you're using with the moving.
Appreciate that.
Hexagons.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. Yeah, and that's. I was gonna invite Randy on StreamYard, but I don't want to pay for. I'm cheap when it comes to certain things, and so I didn't want to have pay for StreamYard because one, it's only 720p that they give me, and then two, I can't do all the cool stuff like my backgrounds, my chats, my all that other stuff. So I appreciate you saying that, Hexodl. Definitely appreciate that. I know this is going to be different than my normal stream setup as well because I use OBS typically on that because it's a little bit easier for me to manage. And we're just figuring it out. So
I gave up on OBS. It was too frustrating for me.
Really? Yeah. And so like OBS I used for my Mac or my Windows in the beginning, and it was so much overload on the computer that I basically stopped streaming for a little bit, which sucks because I didn't really know what to do at the time. And then I ended up buying a whole Mac Pro, and that thing can like handle whatever you throw at it. So now I'm like, I'm back to OBS, guys.
Yeah. I got the M2 chip in this Mac. I mean, it's amazing. Look at my video. Holy shit!
Right,
it's amazing. $1,200 computer. I mean,
I know, what? Right? Yeah. That's when you start looking and you're like, oh my gosh. But Caltech says thank you very much, ATX and Randy, and I do say the same thing as well. Thank you so much.
Look, guys, ATX is going to grow fast. I just passed 7,000. I've had my channel since 2011, but I never used it until I got into Hex, seriously. And now it's growing like crazy. I think this month I've had about 600 new subscribers. So
wow.
Once we get into this thing, it's really going to start flying. And we're in a bear market.
Yeah.
Just wait till we find a bull market and we're all promoting each other.
Holy you said more subscribers than I have in total in 1 month.
but I'm streaming 5 nights a week, so
yeah, exactly.
If we're consistent, people are going to see us.
Yep, I just now started doing daily streams as well. Probably about 2-3 weeks ago when Hexo went down, and I was like, I'll pick up the banner where Hexo left off. Yeah. And
that's what I'm saying, guys. Pick up the banner. Let's get to work.
Yeah, so I was doing these little snippets of videos, but I was like, man, let me put my face out there and stream. It's so much more fun. You learn so much more, especially chatting with folks like you and the community. So, Randy, again, guys, thank you so much for having me. Randy, thank you so much for tuning in. I know he's going to be hopping off, and I'll be hopping off as well, but let me just finish off. Randy, do you have anything? Oh, throw out your socials. What am I doing? Throw out your socials.
Just Randy Hilarski, just like it's at the bottom there. Randy Hilarski everywhere. Randy Hilarski 1 on YouTube. I don't know how I don't have Randy Hilarski yet. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Maybe I did it myself. Yeah, someone stole my name. But there's plenty of others. Just Randy Hilarski everywhere.
Yep. Okay, so I actually have all of Randy's links in the description down below in the video as well. So if you can check out his Twitter, his YouTube, his Instagram. Be sure to subscribe to all of them. He's posting content on all of them as well, which is just a phenomenal, surprising thing.
Look at there. My mom showed Die Hard Hexagon. My mama showed up.
Hey, look at that. Die Hard Hexagon. Love it.
Mama
Love
showed
it.
up.
Awesome stream. Very enjoyable. Thank you so much, Mom. So appreciate you tuning in and checking out and throwing the 2 cents in the chat. It's always greatly appreciated, folks. But
thank you, everybody. I got to go to football practice.
Enjoy. Randy, thank you again.
All right, cheers.
And folks, that was Randy Hilarski. We had a fun time on it. I appreciate anyone who did tune in on the stream. Again, my name is ATX Crypto. Be sure to like, subscribe. I have a daily stream coming noon every single day. So I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.